This is Wayne Dober from the Funhouse, and you're listening to the Timo and Harley Show.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in Mindcrime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben, howdy doody, Harley.
Hey, Timo. How you doing?
Not too bad. Mr. Ben Harley, I almost...
Down there in the Arctic.
Yeah, I know. I got two button eyes, and I got a carrot for a nose. Got a top hat. Happy birthday. Mr. Ben Harley, the Midwest is blanketed in snow.
You guys got hit pretty hard down there.
Right. You guys are like the tropics. You guys are the tropics up there. You got nothing. Yeah. We're like snowed in. We got almost a foot of snow.
That's around insane,
here. Now, Columbia, Missouri, which is just an hour.
Missouri?
Yeah, which is just an hour west of us, where Mizzou is. Yeah. They got 20 inches of snow.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I've been telling you this and everything. The way the weather works, I'm not a meteorologist, but I've lived in Illinois long enough that
you're an engineer, though.
I am. That's true. And St. Louis is right on this like dome of like moisture that comes up from the Gulf.
Yeah.
Then you got the lake. Was it Lake Michigan up there? And then you got this moisture, and they hit each other somewhere in central Illinois. Somewhere there. I lived in central Illinois, closer to Chicago, so I've experienced the difference. Okay. It's stark. It's very, very stark. Now, we're used to getting more wet precipitation.
Yes.
We're used to getting more like ice and sleet and stuff like that. A little bit of snow.
Sudden hurricanes.
Yeah, exactly. And then we're used to getting some snow, and we'll get a big snow every now and then.
Yeah.
But, this was a big one. I think let's see, 2 years ago we had like 4 inches of snow, and then the year after we had 5 inches. Ben Harley, so far this year we have 18 inches of snow.
Yeah, that's some kind of a record down there, isn't it?
It's getting there. I tell you what, this last snow we had was in the top 10 in recorded history here in St. Louis.
Yeah,
so
that's insane. Yeah. So you got your snow boots on? Any Yeti sightings or anything?
I don't got
like
any
that?
snow boots. I got my mesh shoes.
Yeah.
They don't
you got
do
no
good.
moon boots?
I got no moon boots. Angela's got some. She's got some moon boots, so if she wants to go out there, she can do that. But
yeah, well, I saw someone sent me a picture of a Bigfoot or Yeti sighting in your backyard.
Yeah, the Yeti turned into or the Sasquatch turned into a Yeti.
Yes, he did, didn't he?
For the season.
Yeah.
He held up pretty good. He's still out there.
Good.
So anyway, so in the space-time continuum, as we say ad nauseum, record this a week behind. We got Vet City Con coming up.
Yeah,
I think this weekend, as you hear this, it'll be this weekend in Bowling Green, Kentucky, the Corvette Museum.
Yeah, birthplace of John Carpenter. Right?
Yes, and we will be there. I think
and Dick Hammer. Well, I don't think Dick Hammer was born there, but
I don't know if Dick Hammer was ever truly born in the natural sense.
Yeah, he was really birthed like that. Maybe?
He's got some kind of phalo thing going on, I think. Let's see. So we got that going on, and then let's see. Jimmy the Lips, Mr.
Jimmy.
How many names do we have for Bob? We have DVD Bob, Jimmy the Lips, Roberto Slenderini.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
that's my favorite one. Yeah, but so we're all the whole crew.
Dweller.
Yeah, the whole crew is gonna be at the Retro Invasion weekend, and I do believe the whole crew will be at Vet CityCon this weekend, and then I do believe all our crew is going to be at Retro Invasion, both shows. We're going to be invading.
Now, is there going to be a partial Wrecking Crew sighting too at Vet City Con?
I don't know. I haven't asked Mr. Van Meter.
I think so.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll have to keep our guard up.
It's always up, believe me.
That's
when
right,
we're at a convention, my guard is always up. I've always got my eye over my shoulder. I got a funny feeling you might too. So
yes, sir.
let's see. So we did have snow and all that, Mr. Ben Harley. Also in the space time,
and lots of it.
Yes. Yeah. Also in the space time continuum, we're watching some NFL playoffs.
Yeah. So, now, was your team in there?
No.
I kind of loosely was listening when it was on, so I wasn't sure. No. I didn't hear them. I didn't hear about them.
Packers had one of those years where they fired their head coach they've had for a dozen years. Yeah, one of those years. So it's
that guy. I like that guy, though.
Yeah, it's time to move. Time to move on.
Yep.
Time to move on.
So, sometimes you need a little fresh start, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I never trust these coaching hires. I never do.
Yeah.
It's you can't really predict the good ones or bad. It just doesn't. It's a crapshoot. Roll the dice, Mr. Ben Harley. Roll the dice. So, got some stuff to watch, Mr. Ben Harley. I'm gonna run through this.
Yeah, run through it, my man.
Let's see here. Oh, okay. Let's go some new stuff here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, some like 2018-y type stuff. All right.
Ooh, future. Yeah.
Watch the movie called Annihilation.
Okay.
This movie stars Natalie Portman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Oscar Isaac, who played Poe Dameron on Star Wars.
Okay.
He was the star of the newest Star Wars, episode 8. There's a meteor that hits a lighthouse, like on I think it's the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
And like what it does is it causes the entire area around it to get all trippy and all the DNA mixes with each other. So you'll see like a deer-like creature with like branches coming off of its head. You'll see plants that look mysteriously just like people walking.
Really?
And things like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I tell you what, it really tries to look. It's 2018. This is what's bothering me about movies. It really tries hard to be deep. Okay. I mean,
yeah.
And I'm so shallow. I tend to drown at that depth. So I mean, I have. Yeah. And when you start getting like depressing and deep and shit, my suspension of disbelief just goes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I feel you.
But this nihilistic shit that people are putting out, it's like, oh, for God's sake. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's directed by Alex Garland, who did Ex Machina. Some people mispronounce it as Ex Machina. It's Ex Machina, and it came out a few years ago. That was a pretty good movie. It wasn't too bad. It was also kind of a mellow, nihilistic kind of movie, but a very personal one about a guy and a robot, basically. And I thought it was actually pretty good.
Okay.
Something else, I've been waving my cane, crabbing about movies and stuff. And Dunkirk wasn't, but Annihilation really highlighted something I keep forgetting to say in the show. To all of the movie producers and directors, and especially sound engineers and mixers and stuff like that, speak up! For the love of all that's fucking holy, speak up! I'm not getting younger. I can't hear shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Annihilation! I swear to God, I didn't think they wanted us to know what they were saying. Like they were keeping it from us. I thought Natalie Portman put her hand in front of her face like she was whispering to somebody else.
My problem with a lot of that stuff nowadays is because the sound is, I have to turn it so far up to hear the people talk, and then an explosion or a chase scene or something happens, and it about blows the roof off the place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh my God, turn it down.
Right.
And I'm like, oh wait, I can't. Yeah, it drives me nuts. I don't know. You get it.
I get it.
You're an engineer.
I get it. Yeah, they don't mix that shit real good. Yeah,
I hate it. Stop with the hate.
Yeah. So let's see here. Let's move on. Moving on. Okay. Let's see here. From 1994. Watch the movie Cabin Boy.
Cabin Boy with Chris
Elliott.
Farley?
Chris Elliott.
Chris Elliott.
Yes,
Yeah,
Chris Elliott.
Yeah, I love me some Chris Elliott.
Oh, yeah. Brian. Well, this ruined his career, so you're going to have to watch this and then watch much else
I've
after
seen
it.
Yeah. Well, I like, he had a TV show on Fox. What was it? Where he was like a paper boy.
Get a Life. Yeah, Get a Life. That's it.
Get a Life.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That was one of my favorite. When that came out, because that was his dad that played in it, too. Wasn't it?
I think so. They were talking a little bit about that, and he got this Tim Burton produced this. Now, Tim Burton was also supposed to direct it, but he decided that he needed to make Ed Wood and started freaking out on Ed Wood. So he went and made Ed Wood. So he told Chris Elliott and his writing partner, who was also on the TV show, that they should direct it, or that the writer should direct it. They were like, "You would think we would be excited about our first directing gig." No, no. We thought it'd be better if Tim Burton might direct this movie. But it really did ruin their careers pretty much, What's funny about it? I know when it came out, it got panned. What comedy didn't?
Oh yeah,
all the Adam Sandler shit that all got panned and everything too. I don't.
Yeah, I remember it not making and I kind of was following him, a little bit, and I was excited for it, but it's okay,
I think it's hilarious.
It's been a long time since I've seen it, and I kind of enjoyed it back then. It was all right, I mean.
Well, I think it's hilarious. As a matter of fact, when we were watching it, I was teasing Angio because a lot of the weird, bizarre, off the wall things I say out of nowhere, like these pipes are clean, it comes from that. Yeah. Every time. We go on a trip somewhere. As soon as I'm leaving my driveway, I go, "Okay, we're going to Hawaii," and that it's Andy Rick's line in that movie when Chris Elliott tries to talk him into taking him to Hawaii. He takes the steering wheel and spins it a few times, doesn't know what he's doing. Goes, "Okay, we're going to Hawaii." I just always thought it was as funny as shit. So, but what a great supporting cast too with Brian Doyle Murray. Alfred Molina is in it. Ricky Lake, remember, plays the boat, the mast of the boat or whatever. Yeah. Dave Letterman's incredible cameo that will never be forgotten. And what was funny is Chris Elliott and his writing guy said, and he was the director, said, we sat with an audience. We got to the part with Dave Letterman. The crowd roared. We thought, here we go, we're in. And then the rest of the movie was silent, and people were leaving, and that's when we knew, oh no. And they were really upset because they were on the Dave Letterman show. That's where they got their start. Yeah. They wanted to make Dave proud. And they said that's what really upset them the most, that they got Dave Letterman in this movie. He's not in a lot of movies. Got Dave Letterman to do this movie, and it ends up being this stinker to most people. I love it, though. I think Cabin Boy is a cult classic that will be remembered better and better as the years go on. So anyway.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go back and watch it because, I'm a big Chris Elliott fan. I really like him a lot.
Yeah. I think people
shook David Letterman's hand one time, Tim.
Did you really? Was it on his arm still?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. How did that happen?
He was at a race. He's a race car owner, I think, or sponsor. And we were at, down at Mid-Ohio. I got free tickets and we got to the VIP section. I didn't sneak in, Tim. I actually was allowed there.
Wow.
Wow. But it was funny. We were leaving after the race, and a golf cart went by, and sitting on the back of a golf cart was David Letterman, like 2 feet from me. Yeah. And I turned around and I was like, "Hi, David Letterman," and he just laughed and he said, "Hey," and he shook my hand, and then he went, got on a helicopter, and took off. I watched him get in and fly away. I was like, "Wow, that was pretty crazy."
There you go.
Out of nowhere. So So
it doesn't happen every day.
We're tight. Yeah, hey, we're tight. We're friends now. It just he just doesn't know it.
Ben Harley, at the start of this show, what did I tell you? Keep your eye over your shoulder. You never know who's coming behind you in a golf cart, especially at a show. So
exactly.
Point and right there, making my point right there. So,
exactly.
All right, moving on.
I'll go back and check that out, man.
Okay, Cabin Boy, good stuff there.
Yeah.
Moving on, from 1972, got a movie called Child's Play. Not Chucky, Child's Play.
Chucky,
from 1972. This movie has James Mason, Robert Preston, and Beau Bridges in it.
Bridges.
It's a boys' school. And the boys, it almost feels like the boys are like a devil cult of some sort. And there's two teachers that are kind of at odds with each other. And the boys all like one teacher, but they don't like another teacher. Very kind of an eerie, creepy freak out, just like a weird, just a very understated psychological horror film, in a way. Interesting film, though. I kind of suggest people who don't mind a slow burn with a really compelling story and pretty good acting in it. To check this out. Again, it's called Child's Play. It is on Amazon, but I don't think it's Prime. I bought it, actually. I think I watched it, back when I used to have satellite. I think I DVR'd it. And I swear to everyone, though, and I told Angie, I was like, that wasn't the title of the film. I would have remembered Child's Play, but I couldn't find another. I couldn't find another title for it anywhere. So, who knows? Who knows? The world's a strange place, Mr. Ben Harley.
It is a strange place.
Titles don't matter anymore. I've got 15 movies called Spider-Man in my boxes over there.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. So moving on here, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Well, I don't have a definite year for this one. All I can tell you is this. I went on a spaghetti western freak out.
Yeah, you sent me a message about that.
Oh, my God.
You said you got dusty.
I had to brush the dust off and everything afterwards, yeah. So you got forgotten.
You have a little bit. Were you talking right, or were you just like a
no, my mouth was a little off. It was a little off
okay.
from, yeah.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah, and it didn't match my face or anything. It was interesting.
Angie couldn't understand you?
No. She actually sat in on one of these movies, too.
Did
so,
she?
Yeah,
nice. Good.
I did watch If You Meet Sartana, Pray for Your Death. God, I love Italian names. You know
they're awesome. Yeah. Straight to the point.
Right. The next one is
not short, but straight.
Right. Next one is Forgotten Pistolero.
Okay.
Watch that.
Yeah,
one.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, these are all on Amazon Prime. All on Amazon Prime. And then the creme de la creme, which I did watch with Angio, was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So I got to watch. And that is from '66. I do have the date on that one.
Is that okay? Yeah.
That's the one with
really
Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef, Eli Wallach. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a good one.
It is a good one.
It sure is.
Yep. The third in the trilogy of Fistful of Dollars and A Few Dollars More.
Yeah.
So that's the third one. Yep.
It's not a short film.
No,
either.
God, no.
That's
I watched the extended one.
Yeah.
It was 3 hours long. You kidding me?
Yeah. It's a long film.
Yipes. I tell you what, lots of dirty looks.
Yes,
of dirty looks. Because I even told Angela, we actually split it up over 3 nights because I told her, I said, why don't we watch a shorter film and then watch that? She's like, why? I was like, because if these dudes keep giving me dirty looks, I might shoot them.
Someone's going to fight.
Yeah, that's all they do is give dirty looks and shit.
Exactly.
So, let's see. Moving back in time. I'm going backwards, Mr. Ben Harley. I'm falling down the ether. I'm going back in time. From 1932, we got Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Oh, nice. Nice.
With Bela Lugosi in it. So this was, I think this was what they gave Lugosi as a booby prize because he wasn't in Frankenstein, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't land. He didn't land Frankenstein. He didn't land the monster role. So they gave him Murders in a Rue Morgue. You know, it's okay. It's not bad. There's some really dark, sick stuff in this because this is pre-code. Pre-code. Okay. Not only that, I think they edited 20 minutes out of this.
Really?
Now, remember I told you?
Well,
remember I told you, like, Bride of Frankenstein, they edited. It was either Frankenstein or Bride, or maybe both. They edited 15 minutes of violence out. Like, wow! Talk about the holy grail of found footage, too.
Wow,
editing floor. If they ever find that shit and put out those movies, like, it's not going to happen. I mean, it's not going to happen. They edited this shit and threw it away, you know. But I'm just saying. I mean, if they ever did. But anyway, so Murders in the Rue Morgue is okay. It's look, it's got funny monkey shit in it. What do I say? Monkeys are always funny.
They're always funny. Yeah, you're right. Is it a devil monkey?
Well, it's all kinds of monkeys because this is before people really knew what monkeys were.
Yeah.
You know, I know that sounds funny, but no. 1932, not a lot of people had seen a monkey. Or I'll take it back, a gorilla. A gorilla, yeah. So what they would do is they would have a guy in a gorilla suit and then have a close-up of like a chimpanzee or a monkey and then go back to a guy in a gorilla suit. And it must have worked for audiences back in 1932. I can tell you what, given the amount of intoxicants I had when I was watching it, it worked for me too.
So you were shocked.
I ducked. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember much about it. I know I've seen it.
I think we reviewed it a long time ago.
We might have, yeah.
It's one where Lugosi's got the caterpillars for eyebrows.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And he's I don't know. It's Murders in the Rue Morgue.
It's a great Iron Maiden song too. So
it's a great Poe story actually. So great Poe story.
Yeah.
Last up, Mr. Ben Harley. Now listen, a lot of this stuff here is on Amazon Prime. And I've been a little surly about like Netflix and Hulu and stuff like that. And I think I figured out my shit. Okay. Now this next movie from 1920, I said. Yeah. Streaming on Amazon Prime. We have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the John Barrymore John Barrymore version, which I watch about once a year at least, it seems like.
Okay.
I do enjoy this version of this movie very much. But as I was watching it, I realized this movie's almost 100 years old. And I'm streaming it on Amazon Prime. Okay? Right. And I thought about it. I'm like, you're not going to get this on Netflix. That's for sure. No. And in fairness, probably why a lot of people have Netflix and I don't. But I thought about it. I was like, I think I figured it out. I think I figured out the difference. So I want everybody to take mental stock of themselves. If you are a Netflix person or if you're on Amazon Prime, I think I got it figured out. Netflix is for movie lovers.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime is for film buffs.
Film buffs, okay. Right.
I'm a film buff, and you are a movie lover.
Yeah.
So you would probably...
I got Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary because they just socked me $120 for a new year.
But you also have Netflix, don't you?
Yeah.
Give it up. Come on. You don't admit it. You don't admit it very often, but you got it. See?
Yeah. Well, because I like, some of the newer movies when they come out. Some of them I want to see. So, not many.
Excuses.
Hey.
Did you see Bird Box?
No, I don't even know what it's about.
I know that's
keep hearing about it.
People they automatically assume we're all plugged into the Matrix, and they're making jokes about a movie that like 9 people have seen. It's like
I have no idea.
I don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, all I know is blindfolds, and that's all I care about. And it doesn't matter because it's Netflix.
Yeah.
Really, it doesn't really matter to me very much because it's Netflix. But no, that's all I got. You got anything at all?
Yeah, let me see what I got here, my friend. All right. Timo.
No.
I watched something the other day. It was so interesting. A documentary that even Wendy was tuning in. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
A documentary. Yeah. Usually she's sleeping, like, what are we watching again? I'm like,
right.
It's about worms. Come on,
Worms?
It's like no, this isn't.
Okay.
No. All right, so let's see here. Yes, Timo. This is about a little ship called the Indianapolis.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Now, I kind of know a little bit about the story of the Indianapolis. I wrote a paper years ago when I went back to college. Smarty pants.
That's kind of interesting. I always wrote on paper. I never wrote one. I never knew how. I couldn't understand it. I'm being an asshole.
Well, this is actually before, like, even the computers were getting big.
Oh, no.
Sort of. Well, not that long ago, but kind of.
I had to dip my quill in ink.
I did. I even wrote it on a spiral notebook.
Yeah. Right.
But, yes, sir. So I've always had an interest in the Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I've had an interest in ships, first and foremost. My interest in ships is legendary, Timo. So, I tuned into this, and it was on PBS, but it was like 2 hours long, and I had no idea that they had never found the Indianapolis.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so this is a documentary. It was about 2 hours long. Half of it was about kind of recreation of what had happened with the ship, not just the sinking, but beforehand, things like that. Gotcha. It had a few of the survivors talking. And then, some kind of docudrama, recreations, whatever.
Right.
But then also they were out there on a ship looking for, they tried before, like a few years back. And
I didn't know that, really.
Yeah, me either. I was, so that really kind of got me into it right off the bat.
Sure.
So, but yes, they found it, Timo. I don't want to
really
keep you in suspense. Yes, they found it.
Wow.
And what was kind of cool is and I love this, this story, and even like the Titanic and stuff. I don't want to try to go too far off subject, but these stories interest me because nowadays it's a lot of these regular folk. Let's not say just regular folk. Some of these people, like these people that were doing this, have had military backgrounds. Some have been in the naval. I should say business, but been in the Navy. Right. The one gentleman was the submarine captain of they named a submarine, which is kind of funny, the Indianapolis, but so this guy had a big part in doing this, but just regular people too, finding out things, they went back to the logs and found out just they piece together kind of like a puzzle, which is really cool. I want to go into too much of the details because you'll be sleeping. I hear you yawning already.
No, well, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, Miss Ben Harley. I shouldn't be awake yet.
We're talking about PBS. So they don't really. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know. It was really kind of cool. They did talk a little bit, about the sharks and things like that. Not ad nauseum,
right? Because that's usually what people think about.
Yes, yeah, and they did. They were being attacked by the sharks. A lot of them too. They think the sharks were also feeding on a lot of the dead. Yeah, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But they did show a clip that I'd never saw of the plane landing to help pick them up.
Oh wow!
And they said it was against the guy. It was against orders. This guy put this big, huge tin goose looking plane, big huge thing, landed it, and it almost broke up, but they saw the guys down there kind of, fighting, and there were sharks at the time, and they were attacking some of the guys. So the guy put the plane down to help rescue them. But holy crap, what a just, poor guys in the water for 5, almost 6 days.
Yeah, they couldn't signal anybody, right? Because they were delivering the bomb. Yeah.
Yeah, and what happened too is there was other stupid things that happened. Like when you would get back to port, you would have to send out like a message, that we're back, and they had gotten rid of that. And then one guy came over and saw that, they're not in yet, and it just got buried. Like, wait, what are you doing? Like, right? It was a complete snafu. Also, and the other thing too is that they left the guy basically without a cruiser to escort them. This was after they delivered the bomb. They were going to Guam. And so they had news of submarines out there. And the submarine that got them was known to be in that area. Also wasn't told to them. So they're out there alone, going fast. And it just, and the most heartbreaking thing, Tim, I'll try to wrap this up, about the whole thing, the most horrific thing about it, besides the sharks and all these things, is the captain was just, and it never happened before. They just raked him over the coals. He was court-martialed, all these things. He didn't lose everything, but he sent letters to the families after this happened because, he went down with the ship, but he survived. And
he went down with the ship, but he survived?
He survived, yes. Okay. And they just took it to him because who else is there to blame? Right. You should have been doing a zigzag pattern. They even brought in the captain of the submarine to testify against him, a combatant.
That I think combatant. I remember that.
It's awful. Yeah. They just, so he got through that though. And then he sent letters to all the people who died, to all his, the ship. His crew that died, sent them to families, which opened up nothing but he would get some letters of nice things, but then most of them were hate mail. He'd get mail on Christmas. I hope you're having a great Christmas because my son is now dead. And so anyways, it drove him to the point in the 60s. He actually went outside and shot himself and killed himself.
Oh, God.
And I knew about this stuff, and that stuff really kind of hurt me. So that's, anyways, a 12-year-old kid, by watching Jaws back in the 90s, this 12-year-old kid helped, with the help of some of the crew members. He had wrote to Congress. He had made a report for school, and he actually helped get the ship's captain was exonerated.
Oh, wow.
Because of what this kid started, and he petitioned Congress. And that's why I wrote a paper on Jaws and how Jaws changed the world, not because of it being a great movie and it made all this money and it's made Spielberg and it made the summer blockbuster. No, it changed history because it influenced this kid to do what, so that was what I did. I was very...
No, that's okay. That was John Milius too. I mean, John Milius, I'm pretty sure, came up with a lot of that, and then Robert Shaw sort of
wrote it. Yep.
I mean, he kind of, I guess, embellished it or made it his own or whatever too. But it's very interesting that out of Jaws, what you remember the most is probably that scene because I think it actually puts you personally.
Oh yeah, in Quint more of a you can kind of
understand him,
sympathize.
Yeah, you can understand why he's like I
hate sharks.
I don't have a shark story to explain why I am the way I am.
Hunter, shark fighter.
Yeah. But no, here. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Ben Harley. Sure. And this is something that really drives me, and I think it probably drives you nuts too. Yeah. Why can't they make a good film version of that?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's like, and I've seen many documentaries on it, and some are good.
Well, there's a couple actually of films too.
Films, yeah, and they just did one recently, and I don't know. You could make a very a big budget film of that would, because man, they didn't even know what they were delivering. Timo had no idea.
No, I know. Yeah.
You know what I mean? None of them, not even a captain, none of them, and like even that stuff that they were delivering probably wasn't much bigger than your amp or something. You know what I mean? Like, and it's probably worth $50 million or something back then, or it's a little piece of, because of titanium or whatever, uranium. You know what I mean? It's just, that stuff blows my mind, but they had no idea. They had no idea what they were doing, but there was a lot of, this is a great documentary. It really was. You would enjoy it. I mean, there's some, you can't really get enjoyment out of it. I guess you can from a history standpoint. But it's sad,
I enjoy learning stuff, even if it's hard to take. I think that you have to. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, knowledge is power. Yeah.
And what was really nice about it, but and I'll wrap it up here, is when they found the ship and how pristine it looked and things like that. But it's very powerful to see these guys that went down on that ship all those years ago, and that's the last time they saw that ship. Was when it was going down, and that was their home for, say, 2 years, some of them more, and then for them to see it again all these years later like that, just for me, I think it hit me harder watching it than it was some of them. But you know what I mean? They were just like, it was so cool to see them get to see that and think, and like, wow, how powerful that is, you know what I mean? So,
right.
Yeah, but really great documentary, my friend. So if you search Indianapolis PBS, I'm sure you'll find it, buddy.
Is it like an American Experience type?
Yeah, it just came out like within like the last month or so. I think that might have been the first time it aired.
I have PBS. My
the final chapter,
antenna.
buddy. I'm sorry, the final chapter.
The final chapter.
Indianapolis, yeah, final chapter.
Okay.
Yep. So, cool. All right, buddy. I watched the other day something here at the shop with the legend, my good friend, the legend. Boy. And actually even Billy Shea, who had never seen this. But we watched The Howling. Oh, yes. Yes, I like this movie, Timo. Have I ever told you I like this?
Yeah, you did. You told me a few times.
Yeah, there's a little something about it, and I can't say it holds up quite as well as American Werewolf in London.
I agree. Yeah.
But I still, this... It seemed a lot shorter to me than it used to be.
It's a little drawn. There's something about that movie that I don't know. It doesn't hit like I did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it hit me pretty hard, and I don't know what it is. It's just because we've seen so many things like it. I guess
too.
Yeah, it's still great. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I still think it's
it's still, like I said, it's. I go back and forth between those two. It depends on my mood. I still am I still like the werewolf from Howling. I do. The Eddie werewolf. I like Eddie. There's a couple other werewolves in that one that are awful in the Howling.
Yeah.
They are. But I just like that story too. I do, and I don't know why I forget about some of it because I don't watch it all the time anymore, but
right.
I do. A lot of times I don't get to watch it all the way through. Sometimes, I guess, for some odd reason. But that movie has this weird quality, and I know what it is now that scared me so much about that movie. And I've talked about this, and it's the dreamlike quality of it, which also American Werewolf has at times. The dream sequences, are very dreamlike,
right?
But like what I mean. This one's very dreamy, almost fantasy like, and I like that about this movie. This movie has a very gritty feel to it, and I didn't really recognize it that much in the last so many years. I did when I was a kid. It didn't gross me, but I think what this movie just freaked the little shit out of me. Besides the girl taking her top off and things like that, so I like black haired beauty. Sorry. And my little mind didn't know what was happening when I saw it. I snuck in to see this movie. But it's because the werewolves change whenever they want to. That's the reason that I think this movie, and still does, because the part when she's, the part that you get mad about with the sound, when the girl gets chased into the cabin.
Oh yeah, it's frustrating to me.
Yeah. But I back then it was like, wait, he's changed. Wait, now, you know, I mean, even more than Eddie, because I didn't know at the beginning if there was a full moon and he was in the porno shot. You know what I mean? I didn't know. But this is like during the day and she's running, you know, and it's light out, but there's some smoke going, you know, in the tree. It's like, but this guy's turned into a werewolf. It freaked me out.
Right.
And I think watching it the other day just really cemented a lot of that for me. And I think that's why The Howling scared me a lot more, and it changed werewolves for me. It did. I didn't realize werewolves could change like that. It had to be a full moon. You know what I mean? So,
right.
You know?
Right.
So that's why I liked this film so much. And I still do.
I think the 80s, they started messing with the rules of things.
Yeah.
And I think that was to make things a little more fresh for people because.
The gift.
Well, because, you know, even American Werewolf, they don't silver bullets. They don't have any, there's no silver bullet. You know, there's a moon. Yeah. You got the moon part, but you don't have the silver bullet part. And you have more of an animal. You have a less of a, it seems like
a beast.
Yeah, it's a beast. Right, exactly. It's less of a, I guess in The Howling, they consider it some kind of disease. Yeah. You know, and it's I guess a curse a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. It's just, but they just kind of fuss around a little bit. They did it with the vampires and like Fright Night and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, they would just kind of mess around with that. Which I think made it kind of interesting because you could go in to watch a movie, you didn't know the rules. You just had to find them out as the movie happened. Yeah. So part of the rub of the film was if you had a vampire movie, crosses don't work. Oh, shoot, darn it. You know, it's like, darn it, you know, and stuff. So, but I think it was kind of cool. The Howling to me, the audio track is frustrating only because I feel like when it was in mono, which I'm fairly certain is recorded in mono. Yeah. When you listen to it in mono on the old school one speaker on the TV and you had it turned up loud enough to hear, that was pretty loud and jarring. Like when the whole cabin was shaking. And it's the whole movie. It's not just that part. But that part in particular, the audio on it really affected me as a kid. Yeah. Because that whole damn thing was shaking, and I didn't really understand where they were.
Your house was shaking.
Well, right. I didn't understand where they were, what was going on. I'm like, wait a minute. The whole house is a house of werewolf? Yeah, like, I didn't know what the hell's going on. And that part was very scary. Yeah. It's a very, very scary part. Unfortunately, when they remixed it with that stupid speak up audio mixes that they have today, because they remixed in the audio mix, they took all the mid-range out, and you lose that impact of the audio, and it really it bothers me. It doesn't kill the movie for me, but it's a memory from my childhood that isn't satisfied watching it today, which bothers me. Yeah. And maybe that's something. If you had a snag in the movie, it could have been something similar to it. You know, my thing with American Werewolf in London is it's done so well and so entertaining. It doesn't matter if you know what's going on; it's still fun to watch. I think with The Howling, it's a more interesting, dynamic story to the point where when you kind of know the rub, know what's going on, you're left with the movie. Yeah. So I think The Howling brings you along with the script more so than American Werewolf, but American Werewolf holds up better because even if you know what's going on, how it ends, you can still watch it and just be like, wow. And The Howling is just a little bit less of that because of the really more intricate story. Yeah. So once you got the story figured out, you got more of the movie figured out than you do with American Werewolf. I mean, I know it's a real weird way of putting it, but that's about the best way I can articulate it right now. Sure. Because it's early, Mr. Ben Harley. Yeah. So no, foggy.
Well, I like too, you know, and I always kind of forget in that film, you know, like towards the end when they start to, you know, even the werewolves, they start to fight amongst each other, not disintegrate, whatever, you know, because they don't, some of them don't want to, they don't want to be, you know, we can't, what's our buddy say?
John Carradine?
Yeah. You can't, what does he say about, you can't tame what's wild or something?
Yeah, something like that.
It's better than that, but yeah. And, you know, I don't know. And plus too, I like almost all the actors too in this film. Oh, yeah. You know, I like a lot. And, I love John Carradine in this too. He's good in it, you know, old fart in it. Right. But, one thing too, and I'll leave it at this is, Eddie, not so much anymore, but when I was a kid, his character scared me as much as any character in any movie ever. Like,
Right.
I was always afraid of him, like always. He was like, just to me, he was like the creepiest creep, you know. And then even when he wasn't the werewolf, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and then when he turned into the werewolf, like, and I remember just as a kid, always, where is he? You know, like I was on edge, you know, because of that guy. Like, and but yeah, great.
You know what's funny though is when you get older and realize who Robert Picardo is. Like in the other movies he's in, he's always like the little nerdy scientist guy or something like that.
Yeah, he was in like, was it Starship Voyager or something? He was
You realize
like,
that's Eddie.
Doctor.
Yeah,
and I was like that bald guy. Right
that was Eddie. Yeah, they did a good job of making him kind of like evil looking in that movie because he's really not like that at all. I think of it every time now. Ever since I found that out, as I think of it. Nice.
What can you do, huh?
Yep. Is that it? What you got? That it?
That's it, man. That is
nice.
it. Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's get to our official little films, Mr. Ben Harley.
Sure. All right. Let's do it, my man.
Let's go in chronological order so we can get this out of the way here.
Oh boy.
Let's see here. From 1958.
Okay.
We have Night of the Blood Beast.
Yeah.
I like this. Directed by Bernard Kowalski. Got any Kowalskis up there in the north?
There's a few Kowalskis up here.
All right, let me get you a one-sentence short storyline synopsis dealio here. Let's see. Here we go.
All right.
An astronaut is killed on re-entry to Earth, but his body is seeded with rapidly gestating aliens.
He's got what do you call sea monkeys?
Yeah, it sure does. Those are brine shrimp. Yeah. He's got brine shrimp up in his gutty works. Yeah. Okay, let's just be fair. Let's be, in the interest of honesty, I'm pretty sure both of us probably watched the Mystery Science Theater version of this. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Just to help it out. Just to help it out a little bit. So yes, an astronaut is supposedly, I guess, killed on re-entry. Somehow, death to him is just, he gets to brush that off. Just brush that shit off, you know? Yeah. Look, I am pregnant with brine shrimp. So we are fine. So we got that. And then lurking about in the foothills is a creature, basically like
it's a blood beast.
Like a Tweety bird owl squatch or something. Old Chickenfoot. We got old Chickenfoot up there in them there hills.
You know? The sea monster.
Yeah.
Chickenfoot.
So we got Chickenfoot up there. Well, I'm pretty sure somebody stole this costume for Blood Freak. I'm pretty sure. It looks kind of goofy like that. So what we have here is your typical late 50s Roger Corman.
His brother's involved, I think.
Well, yeah, Gene, but it's all Roger. We got him to blame for it. So I don't. When you see Gene or Julie Corman, I'm heading straight for the source. He was just they were doing him a favor. You know. So it's your typical black and white drive-in thing with a cranky, verbally abusive creature. Not unlike the Attack of the Crab Monsters. Verbally abusive sons of bitches. And they get under your skin.
They just want to take over. They want to take over. Well, this guy tries to do it the nice way at first. Right. Then you find out.
Right.
Something's afoot. Yeah.
Now we got Ed Nelson in this, who was also in the Boneyard. I like to bring that up sometimes because I always wondered who he was when I saw the Boneyard the first time, and then I realized, he's a guy that's in these little Roger Corman movies and shit like that. So yes, it is a goofy of goofy type movies. You know what though? Here's the other thing though, and when you're watching a Mystery Science Theater, we don't never do this because it's real hard to kind of pay attention to the plot. But what I did kind of see through the riffing on this was that there was a plot there.
It's a little bit of a plot.
There was some things going on. I mean, beyond the monster, it's just that you kind of get interested in what's going on, and then they take a X-ray of your chest and they find peel and eat shrimp, like in your chest piece up in there. And it kind of
like that cheap animation of it too.
Oh yeah, when they were looking at the blood work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and it looked like
awesome.
Sesame Street, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12.
Yeah, it was like one of those like animated things or whatever. So,
man.
it was very so it kind of gets you into it, and then pull you right out. I'm not sure that even like watching the Mystery Science Theater version, I was kind of struggling whether or not I'd actually seen all of it, only because of one thing. Man, that monster, Chickenfoot, I just think I'd remember Chickenfoot.
Yeah.
I really think I remember it. I mean, I remember the God Monster Vindine Flats.
Yeah.
You'd think I'd remember this bozo.
Oh, it's quite the monster, isn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. So what'd you think, Ben Harley?
Oh, well, this is one that I've caught a few times, Tim.
Okay.
This is one that they play on
Blood
Comet.
Beast expert.
Yes, yeah. This is one they play on Comet.
Okay.
Mystery. Well, they do the Mystery Science version
on
Comet.
Yeah.
Yes. And I kind of remembered. I was thinking, now I've seen this. Sounds vaguely familiar. Then I put it in, and I'm like, oh God, no. I was like, so I especially after watching it, probably I know I've seen it 2 or 3 times on Mystery Science version. So I'm like, I can't go back and watch the regular version. I can't do it.
Right.
So, but yeah, this one's kind of funny because the one girl, there's 2 girlies in the film. Now the one girl looks kind of from this time period. She looks like a 50s,
the
blonde. You know, and she's very, very over dramatic.
Yes.
Everything. Oh my God. Everything is. But the other girl actually looks like she's more, I swear, like she should be from like the 70s.
I agree with you. Yeah, I think she's hot.
And she, cute as a button. Both of them are cute.
That's a better way of putting it. Yes.
Yeah. She's so cute.
Right.
But it's funny because they really let her have it because she's so kind of mousy and funny. And
they didn't give her much to do in the movie. So the Mystery Science Theater guys really go after her, yeah.
And they do a whole thing like, should I make coffee or one of those things that reminded me of.
It's always about coffee. It's always about coffee. I made a couple of coffee comments. And sandwiches and coffee. Yeah.
But I loved her character. I'm sorry, I just was so endeared to her. But the cracks they would make on her because. Just, and they didn't give her much to work with, and stuff like that. And once in a while, she'll come up with one of the, like something to move the plot along, maybe, But I loved her. I just loved this film. It's just funny, but
yeah, I kind of agree with you.
There's not really much to go on.
No, there's not. But I think this is one of those times where I'm like, you know what? I think I should watch, and I do have it. I sent it to you.
Yeah,
I think I should watch the non-Mystery Science Theater version of this because sometimes they make the movies not that they're any better, but they make it to the point where you're almost embarrassed to enjoy something like this. Now I watched From Hell It Came with the giant tree monster that takes women away, and I don't need them in that to enjoy that film. And I actually think that as far as the review goes that we're giving, I think it hurt it. I actually think it hurt it a little bit to the point I almost, if I had any more stamina, Mr. Ben Harley, I would have watched it again. It's only an hour and 2 minutes long.
I don't know that I can do it.
I would have watched it again. Here's the problem, though. The transfer I have ain't much better. No. So if the transfer would have been a real nice transfer, I probably would have actually watched it again. Well, that would be almost to give it more of a fair shake.
Well, I know, I'm trying to figure it because I know, the capsule that the one guy's in, when it's come back into space, I think because the Chickenfoot and them have been trying to kind of figure out a way into our atmosphere. And so that's how they kind of figure their way is impregnating. It's not Steve, but what's...
Oh, God, yeah. I don't know. It was...
So anyways, and then so... he feels a connection with Chickenfoot because he's carrying his
Chickenfoot knocks him up. Okay, so just bear with us here. Chickenfoot knocks him up, and then he has a mild psychic connection with the creature. But he wants the creature to survive because that's what a good spouse does, right?
Chickenfoot can't. Every time he shows up, people are shooting at him or screaming. Yeah. So he finally is able to communicate with them. But once he does communicate, finally they figure out that he's up to no good, and the sea monkeys are just only going to take over the world.
Right. So let me try to translate that from what we're seeing to what happened on set. Basically, this.
Yeah.
Hey, Murray, you got the chicken foot head on? Yeah, I can't see a thing though. All right, well, you got to knock the guy's face off. Just swing at his face. Where's the face at? What do you mean? I don't see a face. I can't see anything. Well, just look ominously at him and walk around a little. We'll figure it out in post. Because he doesn't hurt anybody.
No.
I'm not saying he doesn't hurt anybody. That's not true. But it's just like, like Chickenfoot kind of walks around. He drags people 50 feet away from there to stand in the first place.
And holds his head on while he's doing it.
Yeah.
Trying to keep the mask from moving around.
Yeah, he's like the fly, the return of the fly or whatever. Yeah. So it's like he just drags and mildly annoys people.
Yeah.
More than anything else. And then this, the guy, was it Major Corcoran or whatever? Is that the guy's name? I can't remember the actual. I know there's Steve. It's not Steve, but there's
two Steves, I think. And then
I don't know.
There's the one doctor who's very, he's somewhat very curmudgeon-y, but more depressed.
Oh yeah, he's just down.
Yeah,
he's just down. He's like he
gets killed by the blood beast. He gets it.
Right. So, but it's just it's a thrown together goofy movie. I bet this movie took about 4 hours to shoot. It's just, there's really silliness to it. I honestly think, though, really, I enjoyed the Mystery Science Theater version of it. I think I would actually, at this point in the game, I think I would enjoy just watching it, because this is one of those movies you don't need them.
No,
you don't need them because you got monsters and shit in it, so you're going to watch it anyway. You get a movie like The Girl in Gold Boots, there ain't no reason you're ever going to watch that unless it's Mystery Science Theater. There ain't no monster or nothing in it. It's just people in the 70s or in the late 60s acting like they mean something. You know what I mean? So it's just a little different. This, on the other hand, was like, it's funny. This is what people went and saw at the drive-ins.
Yeah.
Back then, and even the matinees. This might have been a little more of a drive-in movie, though, than a matinee, just because of the impregnated shrimp pieces. It made me hungry, though. I was looking for some cocktail sauce.
I bet.
I was watching it. So, but here's the thing. I don't know how to rate this movie because I love these kinds of movies, and it's silly as crap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grape ape it up for people who really enjoy these silly B movies. This is one of the goofier ones. This is one of the sillier ones. I mean,
yes, it is.
that creature wasn't more ominous because the costume was falling off him. I'm just telling you, he wasn't more violent because if he would make a violent move, the whole shit would fall off him. So that stuff to me is very funny to begin with. Now, as just a regular moviegoer, if you're like one of these people that are into Friday the 13th and stuff, and you're listening to this, you don't need to watch this.
No.
I mean, the Mystery Science Theater is okay, but it's not even worth watching it for that. I mean, if you see it, fine, it's great, it's funny, but it's not your bag. For me personally, though, I'm just going to give it a real mild grape ape up. As in those 50s drive-in, I know I'm going to watch this again and have a ball with it. Kind of grape apes up. So what are you going to do?
Very, very mild grape ape up. It's just
same reason.
It's just I do like the Mystery Science version of it. I do. There's some zingers in there.
Yeah,
there really are.
It's not the best. It's not the best. No, but it's okay.
And it has me laughing. It does. But the Blood Beast himself is a giant grape ape up to and above the rafters.
Yeah.
You got to see it.
I was.
And at the end, he starts talking, and it makes it even funnier. I'm sorry.
That part. Look, I'm tired of the reverbed out voice. I don't know who that guy is that hangs around on set on Roger Corman movies, but it's almost like, look, guys, we basically filmed ourselves into a corner. There's no story here whatsoever, and there's a guy in the corner who has natural reverb to his voice. Says, I'll find out. Or he's like, I'll help you. I am plot fixer. So he just basically does a voiceover that might or might not have needed to be there and explains what the hell's going on. Right. And that's really what's happening here. I mean, that's it. So
it's awful.
It's funny if they made this today, it'd probably be this real dark and spooky movie. movie with like bugs coming out of bodies and stuff like that. And just when you see the difference in date and money, it looks silly. It looks silly. I wonder how many kids had nightmares though going home that night of brine shrimp coming out of their nipples. I really do. I wonder. I bet it did. I bet it happened. I bet a lot of kids, like in 1974, like we're seeing this come on TV going, oh my God, did you see Night of the Blood Beast is going to be on, whatever, Channel 28? Are you kidding me? No, man, that movie scared the shit out of me when I saw it as a kid. No kidding. Yeah. All right. Speaking of that, Mr. Ben Harley, let's move forward about 30 years or so around there from 1986.
Ooh.
1986, we have the film, another Roger Corman production. Yes, production here. Directed by Jim Wynorski, who has done a lot of these made-for-video stuff. You saw in if it had chicks with big boobs on it and stuff, and there was a slasher. Yeah, Jim Wynorski probably at least was lurking about on set. I'll tell you that much. And this is one of his good films. This is one of his better ones. This is Chopping Mall.
Yes,
Chopping Mall, which actually originally was titled Killbots. But that didn't go very well, so they re-released it. They re-released it. Yeah, under Chopping Mall. Let me give you a short storyline here. Short one-sentence storyline. Here we go. All right.
Okay.
Movie guy. Get out here, movie guy. Let's do this. 8 teenagers are trapped after hours in a high-tech shopping mall and pursued by 3 murderous security robots out of control.
Oh, they are out of control.
Yes. So that's pretty much it. They're mall employees. It's not like the fun house. They just want to spend the night somewhere where their mom and dad can't get to them so they can party and play with boobs. I knew you were going to like the boobs. I even was telling my wife I had a love affair with the blonde because of the dolly shot on her panties.
Susie Slater.
I mean,
I had to look her up. Sorry.
I told Angie, I said, you could not rent Chopping Mall on VHS and see that clearly, that butt, because it was always chewed up on the tape. Because everybody kept rewinding it right there. So we got Kelly Maroney from Night of the Comet. Let's see here. We have Russell Todd, kind of like the Harold Hansen Pants guy, and he was in Friday the 13th Part 2. So I hope you kind of recognize that guy.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
We have Tony O'Dell, who was Ferdy, the nerdy guy. He was Jimmy in Karate Kid movies.
Was he?
Yeah. Barbara Crampton. I always forget Barbara Crampton's in this. I always forget that. And maybe part of it's because I don't know, her age doesn't match what was going on here, and I think it always kind of stood out to me. I think they got her to take her shirt off a little bit in this one.
Barbara Crampton should have.
Right. We got John Terlesky. This guy's always chewing the gum. The guy you probably didn't like a whole lot. He was in Death Stalker 2, which is a pretty big made-for-video, kind of fantasy comedy. Yeah. And he was actually a B movie director. Did a lot of movies, to be honest with you. Got a little cameo type thing by Garrett Graham, who was the guy running the operations in the mall. Yeah, like him. Yeah,
I like him too. Dick Miller.
Yes, Dick Miller makes a great cameo.
They whipped out their Dick Miller.
They sure did. They whipped out. Well, we are in Corman territory. They whipped out some Dick Miller in The Howling too.
Yes, so I've been on a Dick Miller freak out.
That's right.
My girl from Rock and Roll High School, Miss Togar, right? What's her name again?
Oh, yeah. They did have Paul Bartel and Mary Warrenov.
Very, very, very brief.
Yeah.
Why? I'm not sure.
Right.
It's that brief. It's just that brief.
Another interesting thing, Dick Miller plays Walter Paisley, which also was his name in Bucket of Blood.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why they were calling him that or whatever. So, and again, I mentioned directed by Jim Wynorski. Maybe Return of Swamp Thing might be what you would know him. That was one of his other kind of bigger movies and stuff like that.
Okay.
And also featuring the robot voices that were pretty much the same crappy CBS Saturday morning cartoon voices.
Yeah.
They kind of sound like that.
What do you say? Thank you for your business, or what was it? Or something?
Yeah, something like that. But nice day. Don't you remember when you used to watch I don't know, the see, I think I'm pretty sure it was CBS had the cartoons that none of us watched.
Yeah.
Like, and the voices were like, "Hey, how are you doing?" Yeah, and I think that was a huge part of it. It was awful animation and it was terrible voices too. So it's not almost exactly the same as this. So I'm gonna send you off on this one here.
Chopping Mall. Yeah.
Yes, Chopping Mall. We're having a Corman freak out.
Yeah, we are.
Let's see. And speaking of that, just to let everybody know and to send you off into what you think of this movie, I sure hope you noticed that the nerds sitting on the couch watching the TV were watching Attack of the Crab Monsters.
They were, weren't they?
Yes. I noticed it right away. I was like, oh boy,
Oh, my God.
boy, it's all coming full circle now. Here we go. They're watching.
We're in trouble now.
Yes, they're watching Attack. What did you think of Chopping Mall? I know you've seen this. I know you've seen
I've
it.
seen, it's been a long time since I've seen Chopping Mall. It's not a bad little movie. It's not bad. It's got pretty much everything going for it. That a movie, one of these movies, especially from this time period, needs. It's got boobs, it's got blood,
Cameos.
Cameos. It's a little bit far out with the robots. As far as them going crazy, which I thought was funny.
Right.
But now, is it the greatest movie ever made? No. No, but it has its moments. It really does. It being in the shopping mall, I think for me, it lent a lot to it because I'm like, oh my God, it looks like just about every other shopping mall from back when we were kids,
Oh, yeah.
And Timo, we spent some time in some malls, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
And so that was fun for, But man, I tell you what, these robots, they don't like, it's not like these things have been out, for a while and they're doing good things and stuff like that. No, they turn right away. It's not like somebody spills some coffee on the control panel and it just happens to set them off. No, they just snap right away, man. They get online, they get hired, and they just
With lightning, doesn't lightning hit the building or something? Yeah. That's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Yeah, it's just a little bit.
Do you think they would have thought of that? Could a power surge affect these? These robots. I wonder. Yeah.
So they basically snap right away and just start killing everybody. You know, they killed the old Susie Slater, which I wasn't real happy
that was a good kill, though.
Sure,
that's
was.
one of the better. This movie's way better than it should be.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I think it's given everyone involved, including Jim Wynorski.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like Jim Wynorski made a good movie. I mean, he made a couple of decent movies. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like decent. Like they were passable. You didn't know they were made by a schlub. But it's just like when you sit down and watch, you're like, God, there's three robots chasing around a bunch of sex craves drunk kids. I mean, it doesn't have to be this good. And for some reason, it's entertaining. It's fun. It's good. It's silly. It's breezy.
Yeah. Now, I think what kind of hurts it a little, for me, that is, I think the robots could have been a little bit better as far as they're not.
They're a product of their time.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
exactly. They're okay. I just think they could have done maybe a little something else. But I mean, there's not supposed to be too many buzzsaws on a shopping mall security thing.
Right.
So,
they were a little overarmed, weren't they?
So that's
get kids out of there to quit
can't really
graffitiing
expect
things.
Too much. Yeah, exactly. So, but it's not. It wasn't too bad. And I said, there's not a lot of in between stuff. It gets going and goes pretty good. You know what I mean? And then I do like how the robots kind of too, like the kids get into the heat ducts. I think at one point, and then they jack the heat up on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to get the girls, shirts a little damp. I think that was pretty.
I'm telling you, the dolly shot of old Susie Slater's behind was a watershed moment in this kid's life. I'm telling you right now, I was like, wow.
I don't blame you there.
And you know me, like you know me, that woman affected what I was attracted to probably for the rest of my life. To be honest with you, I didn't find her face very stunning.
She's a pretty girl.
I mean, she's pretty.
Girl, though.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't find her it was just the rest. I was like, oh, that's I found my type. My type was that, and I've stuck with that, and I've stuck with that pretty much. So that's what I'll deal with, But
so Angie should be thankful to Susie Slater.
I did tell Angie. I said, you guys are both kind of short, curvy girls. I said so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can thank her for the nightmare you have sitting next to you right here. So, but
you just gave her a wink and one of those weird smiles.
Yeah, right. I started talking in the CBS cartoon morning voice. You're mine now. A couple of things here. Speaking of Angie, there's a really well displayed, a lot of signs, business signs are displayed in the mall. Right?
Yeah.
One of them is Florsheim Gallery of Shoes.
Yeah.
Angie's grandpa was an upper executive at that company his entire life. He was like vice president of that company or something like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're sitting there going, hey, look, it's Florsheim Shoes. I was like, you and shoes? She's like, no, that was my grandpa. I was like, gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The other thing, too, is old John Terlesky, when the robot tells him to show him his ID card, he says, Klatu Barada Nikto, which is the day the earth stood still. That was to deactivate Gort, the big, and I'm pretty sure that's pretty much what's ripped off in Evil Dead 2 and all that. When Bruce can't remember the incantation for the Book of the Dead, Baratu Nikto. Look, this movie to me, I was pretty surprised because I enjoyed it when I was younger. And I admittedly thought my 45-year-old self, am I 45 or am I 46? I don't know. My middle-aged self might come into this with a little less private enthusiasm. Thinking, well, that's off the table. Now do I just have to enjoy the movie for the movie? I didn't expect I would quite as much. I still enjoyed looking at the ladies, of course, and everything. As a matter of fact, I was getting a little upset. The guys need to keep the clothes on. This had some decency. There was women in the room. But I was actually surprised how much I really enjoyed it for a film still. It really did pretty much hold up. Corman has a way, man. These stupid movies that he made are probably more stupid when you see them when they come out. When they come out, you're kind of disappointed in them. And you go back to them 30 years later, and they're a little better somehow. You're like, that's the secret.
Yeah.
I think that's his secret. If we go back and watch those old Vincent Price movies, they're probably maybe not scary, but they're better today probably than they were then. Right. Given where everything's went. I'm going to give Chopping Mall a great bape up. Regular great bape up. Not a huge one or nothing, but I was impressed and surprised how well I enjoyed watching it. It's short. It's just over an hour and 15 minutes long.
It's curvy.
It's curvy as hell. It's got pretty ladies for the ladies. It's got some fellas in it. So it's not a bad film and it's entertaining. It's entertaining.
It is entertaining.
It doesn't try to slow down too much. Doesn't get too boring. If they're having a dialogue part, some of the dialogue is so cringe-inducing, it's not boring.
There is some bad dialogue.
There is in these movies. So I'm going to give it, I'm going to give it a great bape up. What you going to do?
Tim, I think I'm going to do the same as well. I'm trying to be twinsies with you today times, but I did enjoy it. It's been a long time since I've seen this, and I like, a lot of Corman stuff because when I think about him too, some of it, like you're saying, when it came out, who knows how well it was received then, but some of them have gained steam over the years. Right. But like this guy knows what he's doing as far as when you get out there, you put a product out there, you make some money on it. Who cares if it's not Lawrence of Arabia or whatever? Right. But some people think it might be Lawrence. It might be somebody's Lawrence of Arabia. You know what I mean? Like, and plus,
right. And
he knows, man. A guy who does production like myself, not on the scale,
right?
Roger Corman does. But sometimes, you know what I mean? Let's say you have to understand. I can only put so much time and effort into this piece to where I'm going to make money and profit, and you know what I mean, or whatever. And that's what he did, man. And some of these movies came out great.
Right.
I'm so thankful to Roger Corman. I would not have known the Ramones. The Rock and Roll High School was like just so many things that he did over the years have influenced me. And I just, and I got to meet him once. So yeah, good stuff.
Well, the thing is, Roger Corman realized that not everyone is entertained by Lawrence of Arabia.
Right, exactly.
And I know that's hard for people. And
some people to understand.
Yeah, I'm a movie snob. I'm a film buff, but I can, but I totally understand.
But you like some god awful stuff.
I do like god awful stuff, and I like the stuff that everyone, that's classic stuff. But it's like, I think I can see a bridge between the two in a way where it's like.
But you don't like Gone with the Wind.
I do not like Gone with the Wind. I can't stand Gone with the Wind. So
there you go.
It's just a bad movie. I just don't like it. It's made well. It's boring to me. I just don't like it. So what I'm saying is that Corman knows this, and Corman knows that there's nothing. Why should there be any shame? I mean, is there any shame that we listen to rock and roll or punk rock instead of classical? Well, Lawrence Arabia is the classical music of movies.
Yeah.
And not everybody sits down and listens to Mussorgsky's Night at Bald Mountain. I do, but not everybody does.
Call the Mountain King.
Yeah, exactly.
The Bumblebee.
Right.
It's not everybody's cup of tea.
No, some people choose Gates of Kiev. Some people choose, My Old Man's a Fatso, by Angry Samoans. It's like, it is what it is, So,
exactly.
It's just entertaining. It's not trying to be something it's not. And it's funny if you contrast to go back to Night of the Blood Beast.
Yeah.
And you go to Chopping Mall. What's the similarity? The damn things talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who is this guy? Now, I do think that the robots in Chopping Mall was not the CBS guy, unless Jim Wynorski was also the CBS guy. I think it was him.
It could be.
I think it was him that was doing the voices for the robots or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so... Anyway, we had fun watching this. Had fun. So, and maybe in 30 years, Chopping Mall is going to look more like Night of the Blood Beast. I doubt it.
Right.
But
I have a new girlfriend in my life.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then you got an older one in your back pocket from Night of the Blood Beast too, if you need to pull her out. So there you go. Yeah. I'll chase off Chickenfoot. While you're worrying about that.
That's right.
All right, Mr. Ben Harley. So we got 2 Great Babes up for Chopping Mall, 2 Sympathy Great Babes up for B movies.
Yes, sir.
For Night of the Blood Beast. Look, folks, you're not going to like this if you don't go into it ready just to be goofed out. I mean, it's not. It's a terrible movie, but it was put together.
Low expectations.
Yeah. I mean, just have a goofy expectation. You'll enjoy it. If you want to watch Lawrence of Arabia, watch Gone with the Wind. It'll piss you off. All right, Mr. Ben Harley.
Especially if you're from the South.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Right. All right, Mr. Ben Harley. Let's get out of here. Not sure what we're doing next week. But, given what genre we work in, odds are pretty good. Roger Corman at least sneezed in the direction of what we're doing next week. So until then, Mr. Ben Harley, stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Tim Owen Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com. Your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.